Death and taxes apparently aren't the only sure things in life. You can also add a certain football title to the list as EA's video game juggernaut returns once again in Madden NFL 15. For folks who play the game on a next generation system like I did, the first thing that will pop out is the game's graphics, which I say would be the biggest improvement of the game this year. While last year's version of Madden on next gen systems looked more like upscaled versions of their current gen counterparts, this year's game looks like a totally different animal. Character models, for example, feature a lot more detail from improved textures and creases on jerseys, all the way down to Colin Kaepernick's tattoos. Facial models, particularly for star players, are also much improved and actually look like their namesakes. It's not quite up to the level of the NBA 2K basketball franchise quite yet, but at least Pete Carroll no longer looks like he introduced his face to a manhole cover. Rounding out the visual package are the new lighting effects, which do a great job of emulating the lights and shadows of a late afternoon or even how stadium lights reflect on player helmets during a night game. Snow effects look nice too, and even individual snowflakes can have great detail when seen up close. It would have been nice though if the game also let player bodies leave marks on the snow as opposed to just their footprints. Player animations, meanwhile, look great overall, with the exception of the dandy wall walker trot that quarterbacks do sometimes when they approach the huddle. Not sure exactly what's going on there, but it looks just wrong, man. Other than that, the jukes and tackles look solid and add to the realism of the game. Speaking of realism, presentation is something Madden traditionally does well, and that continues with this year's game. Madden does a great job of simulating a TV football telecast from the replays and camera angles used, for example. The announcing though can be hit or miss, and I could have sworn Phil Simms used some of the same phrases he did last year. Of course, gameplay remains the prime consideration for any game, and EA tried to add several extra wrinkles this year to improve it. Running and option plays, which were the key focus last year, remain solid in Madden NFL 15. This year, though, defense gets its turn in the spotlight. Players who try to make their first tackle, for example, will notice a new tackling cone that serves as a guide for making either conservative tackles or more aggressive ones instead. Players who like playing on the line also get new mechanics, including a timing-based minigame of sorts and a choice between power or finesse moves. Other options include block steering, timing snaps in order to jump them, and the ability to quickly rotate the camera from the perspective of the defense. Defensive backs also react to throws earlier, and while I was still able to move the ball fine, I noticed passing became more of a challenge when the field of play shrinks closer to the end zone. For offense, pass accuracy is the key change for this year, which adds gradations and variety in the types of inaccurate passes players will see. This is something that's especially noticeable when you switch from an accurate quarterback like Peyton Manning to, say, Johnny Manziel, who's great at running but inconsistent at passing. The kicking game also gets a new arc mechanic to better gauge the angle, power, and distance. Skills Trainer mode remains a neat feature for newcomers and rusty players to ease into the game, while the addition of the Gauntlet gives even experienced players a nice challenge with drills. For lovers of fantasy football, Madden Ultimate Team remains in the game while sim fans still have Connected Franchise mode. New things for the latter include a performance affecting confidence stat that can be boosted by on-field results, game prep, or player XP. Even with the new mechanics, gameplay isn't radically changed, which will likely disappoint players who crave for more major additions. For folks who like Madden's basic gameplay, however, the changes add some polish to the product. At the same time, while the lack of a major gameplay overhaul can be debated, graphics definitely take a big leap forward. For players already happy with the game mechanics, the very noticeable improvement in the graphics will make Madden truly feel like a next-gen game.